Hi, this is Dale Maley. I'd like to tell you about an interesting little project I just finished up. It involves our little museum, our Fairbury Echoes Museum in Fairbury, Illinois. In that museum, we have a lot of unique and old artifacts on display, typically hung on the wall. And we have two very unique and rather precious historical artifacts that are rather unique because one of them is an Armbruster Plumbing, which is a beautiful old sales type thermometer, and a Claudon Motor Mart auto dealer from the Eisenhower era. If they would accidentally be knocked off the wall by museum visitors, or in the case of the thermometer, it was just hanging by a very thin thread, if they fell and broke, they could never really be replaced. So how do I come up with a way to better secure them so they don't fall off the wall? So the concept I came up with involves a thick mounting board in the back. And that mounting board can be screwed right onto the wall, which in this case has paneling. So it's easy to screw that in and it'll be very secure. Then you need a way to retain the objects. So what I decided to do was put some thin strips on the vertical on the left and right side. In the case of the thermometer, that'd be 3/8 inch, quarter inch by quarter inch little trim boards on the sides. And the thermometer is only about a half an inch thick, so that means about half of it's covered. So that should hold it well from rotating right and left. So I need a top and bottom stop there. So I'm just going to put in two little boards. I'll make them just a little bit thicker than the thermometer. So on top of those I can screw on two more retaining boards. And the thermometer will still be loose in its frame. I don't want to put any pressure on it, but it will not fall out of the holding boards. Here's a photograph of the first retention frame I made for the thermometer. As I said, it's about a half inch thick. So those two vertical strips, they're a quarter by a quarter. They're glued onto the baseboard. And then I have the two boards, top and bottom. And on top of those, I have two more that are removable with brass screws. I'm going to go with an amber shellac finish on this. The paneling in the museum's a little darker brown, but it should look fine. Nice thing about shellac is you really only need one coat. Then I'll use some brass screws to anchor the back mounting board to the museum wall. Now, of course, instead of shellac, you could always paint these too, whatever suits you. Now, on the second project, the mirror, I want to use the same general concept as I used on that old thermometer. However, it's a little thicker. It's 1 inch thick, the Eisenhower mirror frame. So I'm going to use a little bit thicker 3/8 by 3/8 vertical retention strips. I'm going to increase the mounting board thickness, beef it up a little bit from ½ inch up to 5/8. And then I'll have to glue up some 1x4 pine boards to get the big mounting board for the mirror. So I'll go ahead and saw out the center area to reduce some of the weight of the mounting board also. Now I used a SketchUp drafting program in my projects. So here's what the bigger frame looks like for the Eisenhower mirror. And you can see the way the boards are on the top. I don't have the final two brass screws that hold the top retention board in, but you'll see those in a photograph in a minute. Here's a photograph after I finished the larger back mounting board, and you can see that I removed the center area to take out some weight. And on this one, since it's larger, I'm going to have two screws on the top and two screws on the bottom that screw this mounting board onto the museum wall. Here's a photograph of both the retention frames finished in my shop with the shellac coating, and I'm ready to take them uptown and install them on the wall at our museum. In this photograph you can see the thermometer with its new mounting frame, and it's mounted just to the left of the light switch. And I used a brass screw at the top and one at the bottom to screw it into the paneling on the wall. It's very secure now, and there's no way it can be bumped off. Here's a more close-up view of the old thermometer and its new mounting board frame setup just to the left of the light switch. Here's a photo of the much larger Eisenhower mirror, where after I mounted it with 4 brass screws to the wall of the museum. Here's a little more closer up view of my finished project here of the Eisenhower mirror after it's been screwed on the museum wall. Some closing thoughts on this project. It was a fun little project. It's relatively inexpensive since I'm just using common pine, and I was able to mount the items very securely to the museum wall. The nice thing is this basic design can be modified or adapted for about any size of an item you want to hang on the wall. So in summary, this video explains how to make a secure retention method for wall hanging items and just using common pine. I hope this video helps you on some of your projects. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe. Thank you.